Hi, Telford / Wales. So I brought a little bit of Wales with me, Cardiff Devils.
Cardiff Devils. Oh,
Because, there was not enough Wales in Telford.
Do you know a Merlin panel? I was thinking back. Do you know that's the first time we all met? We did a Merlin panel together.
Birmingham?
This was in Wrexham.
Wrexham.
Our first one.
That's the one we did. Yeah, me, you, and Tom Hopper.
Yeah, and Tom. And it was great because I could go along to you all like that, and I could just about reach for Tom as well. Yeah. It was good.
Are you taller than Tom?
No, Tom's taller than me.
He's huge, isn't he? He's absolutely, showers were not designed for that man. He is huge. He is absolutely.
You obviously stood next to him. So.
Obviously, and also chainmail wasn't designed for Tom Hopper. He's the only one that had sleeveless chainmail. The chainmail always makes me laugh about it because Mordred, obviously, when he turned evil, spoilers for those of you who haven't watched season 5, came out 10 years ago, get over it, is the idea that that Mordred obviously goes into the chainmail shop when he's evil and goes, "Have you got anything in black?" I'm like, yes, come round the back, sir, to the evil side of the chainmail shop. Mordred's chainmail suddenly becomes black when he's evil. This is weird. A little weird kink, isn't it? A little weird kink.
Wow. What about for you? What's your memory when you think back now? Because, it was quite a time ago. Make yourself at home.
No, it's good, yeah.
When it was quite some time ago now, but tell me what, your fondest memories when you think back to the Merlin days. What is it that you've taken away with you?
I think, someone asked me this earlier, and I think we were so lucky to be filming at the castle in France, and then the kind of few times where the nights we're all together, we're in chainmail, we're in our, cloaks and just pretending to ride, or actually riding, but pretending we knew what we were doing. It was kind of magical, and just to kind of get away with, get away from Britain and be in France and hang out with there wasn't much acting. It's basically having sword fights.
You were saying that you were getting away with it. So what? Tell us about the horseplay here. What was
the horseplay. No, I remember the audition. They said, can you horse ride? And you go, I can't lie here because this is filming in 2 weeks. And,
okay.
So I was like, I'm comfortable around horses. And then we basically, a lot of us learned on the job. And I remember the jousting episode, I've said this before, but I think they went, okay, why don't you stand, Rupert? We'll just close up, just go side to side, and then look like you're on a horse. And then I did sit on a horse, and the first time I ever galloped was there. And by the end, it's that weird thing, you get very attached to your horses.
Yeah.
One in France, one in Cardiff, and we all kind of...
and the horses get very attached to you.
Yeah. Well,
because they're really, they choose who they like.
Well, mine one didn't like me at all. The writer decided, first time I ever got on a horse, the writer decided that Mordred was getting what's the word, like, not tasered, but like the idea that you, when you're in a sorority or whatever, you get, anyway, tricked. I was being tricked.
Yeah.
And I was being I got put on a horse backwards.
Oof.
To ride through this like evergreen sort of like glazed thing, and I'm on this horse, and so the horse master in France, Gino, was like, "We haven't got time. It's filming in 5 days. You're going to have to learn to you have to learn to go backwards before you go forwards." Mm. So I was on the back of a horse. I'm just going to give you the nice demonstration. Horse's head is by there. And I've got I'm saddleless, and I've got the sort of the rope around me, and I'm having to sort of guide it with my bum with his neck like this. Wow. So strange. I mean, it took me 4 or 5 days to do that, and it's on camera for about 8 seconds.
Yep.
It's so frustrating, all because one writer in one room probably went, "That'll be quite funny." Yeah. And it was a pain in the ass, and then I eventually learned to ride it the proper way. With the horse's head facing the direction that I was facing.
Oh my goodness me. There's a move called Round the World that you do that in gymkhanas, where you sit on the horse and then you go back, and it's not easy. That is a really, really
I didn't even get that far. I just, just like this, Ed, please end my life right now. This is painful. For me and the horse. The horse is like, first, imagine someone gets on your back, and you're like, what the f*** are you doing?
Do you know what? I got news for you that horse liked you. Because if the horse didn't like you, you wouldn't have got away with that.
Well, I don't think I got away with it either. That's why it's on screen for 8 seconds and not 2 minutes, probably.
Oh. So, that's not your fondest memory, that's for sure. What when you're thinking back to the show, what is it that you think of, you take away and you go, "Oh my goodness, that was the time of my life"?
For me, it was my very, very first day on season 5, because we were filming in the Brecon Beacons, but it was one of the hottest days in May. And they decided to cover the half of Brecon Beacons in fake snow, which was just soggy white tissue paper. And I walk onto set, and there's this green cloth on the floor, sort of draped around from like down here. And I'm just looking at it. I've just come out of drama school. I have no idea what's going on. I'm just standing at this green cloth, and Justin, our director, goes, so he's Scottish. He's like, so that's the ravine, and that drops down like 20, 30 feet. And I was like, no, it doesn't. That's a green cloth. What are you talking about? And he said, so when you get here, you have to sort of get to the edge, and then you look over the head, and there's a dragon flying past. I said, where's the dragon? And it was a guy it was Nick, the art department guy. He was on a ladder with a fag in his mouth, with a green stick and a green ball going. That was my first day. I was like, what the hell have I got myself into? What's yours, Rupes? Oh, you said? Yeah, fondest memory. But yeah, it was kind of like the big game changer. I did 2 daytime TV shows. I just did a play, and this was like, prime time, Saturday night. Yeah, and it was I was like, whoa, and they literally threw me in the deep end. Green screen straight away, dragon straight away, ravine straight away, and I was covered with a sort of like makeshift headpiece balaclava because I had no hair here. I just did an army drama, so I had a buzz cut. So yeah, it was ridiculous. The whole thing was ridiculous, but fun.
Fantastic. And when you're talking there about, somebody with the dragon going over the top and the green screen and everything else. Did you have any indication, you got fake snow in summer? Yeah. So that's got to be challenging for an actor to sort of put themselves in the right frame of mind, ready to say, hey, this is going to look so different.
Yeah, I think there were moments that, you sometimes get images, but most of the time you would be going, no. So you would kind of have a sword fight, or you'd be, oh, this thing's flying down at you, and then it's be called a wolverine or whatever it is, and you go, okay, or something, whatever it is, and you go, great, and look scared at this, and so you do that, and that was one of the joys of them watching it back when it came on telly, and go, oh, that's actually quite scary. That's if I'd known.
Help us to understand this. I mean, do you guys get called in? Is there a storyboard? Do you walk through all of that?
There is, but sometimes they haven't got, so that you'll know in the script it will kind of describe what this creature is. Okay. And then so you kind of get an idea of it, and then they will show you sometimes what the finished article is, but a lot of the times, I mean, that was again the beauty. There's so many departments on Merlin were working. The special effects were, I mean, still hold up to this. No, they do. I think a lot of them. Yeah, but I think some of them you could pick holes in it, but the fact it finished over 10 years ago, and you can still watch it and go, actually, that's, the skeletons coming to life, all these kind of things you're having. Sometimes I did wonder whether it was the director or the producers just trying to make us look silly. Like, when they say you're having a sword fight with a skeleton, just have a sword fight with yourself, and then we'll add the skeleton. And then so you find yourself pretending you're having a sword fight and pulling, kind of crazy. I find that
amazing, that the motivation and the creativity.
So hard.
In front of me is going to be this skeleton. Yeah. It's going to look like this. It's done this move, and to make that look authentic.
Oh, and you learn we had amazing stunt coordinators, and they were, part of, again, another department that were just absolutely incredible. You learn the routine. But then they suddenly step out, and you are having to remember the routine without someone going for it, and then trying to say, do I have a funny kind of fight face when I'm fighting nobody? And they're like, no, it's fine. But yeah, so then watching it back, it's kind of glorious. That's why it was fun to watch a lot of the episodes.
It was also like, just in terms of like, those days were like few and far between, but they were usually like 3 full days. So it was very intense. For those 3 days, we'd have like the green screen stuff, they try and focus all the elements into one day. So what was nice then is when they propped up, because sometimes you'd get, not complacent, but you'd get a little bit, we shot similar types of scenes in the same location constantly. It was almost like different monster or different villain, but it...
That was Siri cutting in and agreeing with you.
God, is that you? Am I the chosen one? It's this idea that it's... lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, so you do the same scene, sort of, with tiny little change of things. So you get sort of not complacent, you get comfortable with doing the same kind of scene with King Arthur and Merlin, because it might be the same sort of structured scene. It's just in a different location, or maybe the same location scene, but just So when these days come along, you actually really look forward to it, because it's a break from the norm. You suddenly just, like you said, like Rupert, you're fighting something strange. So mine was fighting a ravine and a dragon mostly, and then the dragon was lying down on Morgana's lap. And I get the moment, the moment that I was waiting for in the script was when you get the flary eyes and you speak a bit of magic. I was also thrilled to be the person that tells Morgana who Merlin is. And I remember reading that script, episode 11, and being like just giddy with excitement. The fact that after 5 years, it was entrusted with Mordred to be the person that tells her. How she didn't really know, I mean, come on. She's like, really? Emrys is Merlin? And I'm like, yeah, I mean, just look at him. It's the same person. Come on. But yeah.
So it's a Batman and Robin thing, isn't it? It's like, my God, look at that.
And also there's this scene with, it's my favourite scene ever of Colin Morgan is the Dolma. Do you guys remember the Dolma? When he's dressed as a big fat woman in drag, and they gave him a brassiere, and he's like, I'm the Dolma, set it down by the lake. He was having so much fun. There's an outtake blooper of me and Bradley laughing our asses off at that. Colin Morgan, genius, right?
So I wanted to know, with that as well, I'm trying to get my head around this. You've got the storyboard, you know what you're doing, you're making this up, you know, so you've got somebody, as you go along, you've got something in front of you. Now, knowing what I do about how these things are created, you've got to have multiple cuts here, because there's got to be a way to get an angle where we cut there, where I can drop back in there to cut out what you're saying, or a scene, or shorten it, or lengthen it. So you're doing multiple angles of these things as well. How does that change from the perspective of, you know, are you given your eye line, you say, well, this is where, you know, the viewer is going to be looking from here, this is what, how?
I mean, you know, it was directed brilliantly. A lot of that work has been, they've put so much work into it already, so they know exactly, there were certain things, storyboards, and I remember that kind of ball, it's like a mirror ball kind of thing.
Which green ball and there's a mirror ball.
Yeah, and then you kind of know where certain bits will be. Yeah, and so you then, so they're in control. So I'll suddenly say, right, aim for this thing or aim for that thing. And I remember, I think it was it was series 3 maybe, when there was this huge battle where we all kind of fired burning arrows at this thing, and so again, someone will stand out in the field and go, right, all aim towards us, and we were like, brilliant, and thinking he's a lunatic, and then you realise they're not real, do this, and they kind of, like, you literally, we were all there going, we are going to look so cool in this. We're sweating, and
it's gonna leave like an Olympic javelin, but
exactly,
performance issues.
And then you watch it back, and obviously CGI went, don't worry, we'll make you look good. Yeah. So that was basically what Merlin was. Basically like, we turn up and kind of do things that look ridiculous, and then people from all departments then make us look quite good, and like we know what we're doing and things. So, yeah, it was good.
What was, I wanted to know what sort of like day one was like for you guys when you came in as yourselves and then were transformed into character, when you got your, you know, for the first time exactly. What was that like?
It was like transforming into character.
I mean, it was very, it was very different for me. I mean, I have to say, I had a few different a few different first days, because I came in, I was meant to be in a couple of scenes, and it was like, here's your costume, that will do, you know, here's jousting, so you've got this thing on, and had a cool kind of mask that I took off when I had jousted. And this amazing stunt guy jousted for me. And then there was kind of that day when it was quite exciting. In fact, my first day was quite dull in the studio, but I had one line, and I remember Richard Wilson saying, I've said this many times, Richard Wilson was like, oh, welcome, are you excited? And I went, no, I'm terrified, I will probably mess up the line. And he was like, okay. And sure enough, you know, the end of a massive scene between him and Colin, I come in to say, oh, the king commands your presence immediately. That's, when the king, sorry. And they were going, oh my God, literally, can you do it again? And in my head, you can see in the chainmail, my heart just pounding. But I think because I messed up and people then went, oh, he seems quite sweet, and let's give him a bit more. Not many words, but let's just let him come back in. So I think that really helped. But then the first day, I kind of got the cape and then walked in, and there's a shot of a few of us walking through from the castle over the drawbridge, and you just go, that was exciting. And then the round table bit, you're like, that was cool. And then, so there's a few things. I mean, mostly it was us going, it's really cool, whilst also, especially in France, when anyone could come and watch us, you'd see kids going, oh, look how cool they are.
Yeah.
We had to pretend we were going, yeah, whatever. But we were like, no, how cool is it that we get to be in this thing and hold a sword?
There's also, when you're bigging up the costume quite a lot, but the chainmail used to give us like a beer belly. We used to sit on the horse.
Okay, yeah.
Sit like that. So we never really looked like we had, Tom Hopper was going to the gym every day, but it didn't really matter because every time we sat on the horse, there was this little pot belly like this. So we're clearly like Knights of the Round Table that I spent a bit too much time at the tavern, you know what I mean? Just a bit too much. But in terms of the transformation, from being picked up at set, we get picked up in the morning, sometimes at God knows, 5 a.m. And the transformation would take us about 2.5 hours, especially if all of us were in, especially if all the knights were in, all the hair and all the makeup, and then the chainmail. And we had to put the chainmail on in certain times. So you have to have your chainmail on before you put on your makeup, because the chainmail was actually a light plastic sort of thing, wasn't it? It wasn't actually, it was metal, but it was shit, and they spray painted it silver. It was like chained, so it was lighter. But it meant that it was when it was in the summer, it was ridiculously hot because you were conducting light, conducting heat, and in the winter it was bouncing the heat off. So you're either freezing or boiling. There was no happy medium between it. Cut to the pot belly as well. Just a bit of a mess, really. But yeah, long process to get into it and about 5 minutes to get out of it. Get it off. Going to the toilet was a nightmare as well, wasn't it? You had to sort of hoist it up. And then you sort of sit, squatting like this. If someone took a photo of me right now, this is the most unknightly thing that they've ever seen in their entire life.
Oh my goodness. I remember talking to the guys from, if you remember the original Robin Hood series, and they were talking about the chainmail on the Sheriff of Nottingham, and I said, what was that made out of? And they said, well, we needed some cheap, props and everything, and apparently they sprayed some biscuits, just sprayed them all gold and have them
like custard creams.
Yeah, literally. It was I think you're.
You never look at that show. You never look at that thing again. We do the same way. It's like, is that a bourbon and a digestive? Is that a Kit Kat painted gold? It's hilarious.
Oh, well, the Sheriff of Nottingham was a bit of a jammy dodger, I guess. They don't get any better than this. I just realised I'm hoarding you. You're asking these questions. Are there any questions from the audience? There are.
There are, yes.
I better let some people in.
I'm going to come down to you no, I'm going to come down. I'm sat down. Hello. I'll be on piece. I'll be like, hello. What's your name? You're the girl that coughed earlier. It was sort of bizarre cough, like an old man.
Actually for Rupert,
yeah,
sorry.
What was... this works out well, wouldn't it?
What was what was Anthony Head like in real life?
Anthony Head? Which one was he?
Never heard of him.
No, Anthony Head...
did that Buffy programme.
Oh,
That's the one.
Buffy boy. There we go. No, Anthony Head, I personally think was one of my favourite people in the show. One, because he's absolutely brilliant. He was a kind of an amazing, calming presence on set. So there's a lot of young people in first jobs, and there's a lot of. He was kind of the sane head, and really taught a lot of people and took people under their wing. And you'd have people upstaging you when you asked a question and stuff like that. And he was really good at just making sure that young kids who had just come out of drama school and were Welsh were kind of. Yeah, no, he's brilliant. And I was lucky enough to work with him again about a year ago, and it was just a dream. He's brilliant.
I've got a question.
There we go.
If you could pick any character that's not your character and who to play, why would it be the dragon?
That's Tom's answer.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Tom, I'll play the dragon. I'll play Kilgara.
Yeah. There we are.
Yes, there's a question here. Hello.
I believe the horse wrangler you all worked on in Wales would have been Dylan Jones from Snowdonia.
Correct.
Yes, that's right. I've been lucky enough to work with him on a few films and TV. Of course, his dad actually worked on Willow. I'm going to be speaking later to Warwick Davis about his experience with the family, with the horses. So your experiences with Dylan, quite a character.
Lovely character. Also, he made me graft, man. I went up. He said, "Come and spend 5 days with us in the stables." I'm thinking, get fed, get bed and board, do some horse riding. 5 a.m. Bang, bang, bang. Come on, the horse needs a shit clearing up. And I was like, oh, you're not joking, are you? And he literally got me to cover up shit for like 2 hours before I got to ride on the horse. Did you go up to him?
I never did. No, I didn't need to because I just needed one quick lesson.
You are.
Came naturally. No, he was brilliant. But I was always. I mean, I was given the only female horse and who actually threw me during one of the scenes. And I ended up.
Oh, you did. I remember that. Yeah.
But it turned out this horse was pregnant, and he called me one morning and went, "I'm really sorry about that. We just found out that
she's pregnant."
Yeah.
We put you on a pregnant female horse surrounded by other male horses. Yeah. I mean, come
and he
on.
did. He did say, "Would you like to have your?" Because you. And I was like, "I live in a flat in London. I don't."
Just put on the roof. Put on your roof.
Yeah, I could have done. It was before my.
Any other questions? Yes, over here.
Oh.
How are you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
Very good to see you. Going to do a nice lunge. Oh yes, cheeky. Hello.
Question for both of you, really.
Absolutely not.
Do you have a favourite line that you've said from the show?
Rupert?
No. No.
Only 10 years ago.
Not that I can remember. Yeah.
I know what I've got a favourite line. The love that binds us is more important than the power we wield.
What was that from?
That was from Versailles. No, I'm joking. Yeah. Mordred says that to Morgana when he blasts her. You've changed, Morgana. Love is more important than the power we wield. Wow. Sexy.
Did as well. Favourite episode, I think, was series 2 with the dragon, the battle at the end of that. That was good. But then so there's something of Uther Pendragon in series 4, maybe. There's part 1 and 2. They were pretty. And there's an episode where all the knights turned on each other, which was just fun to actually.
My one is The Drawing of the Dark, which is the episode 10 of season 5.
Could you be more specific?
What's that?
All right, carry on.
Be more specific. It's when Mordred turns evil, and Kara and the hanging, and then he goes off to Morgana. It's just great because you get to play at the start. He's still completely the Knight of the Round Table, and then it completely pivots and he goes a full 180 the other way around, which is great. So yeah, good. As an actor, you don't tend to doesn't tend to happen like halfway through an episode. It tends to happen right at the very end. And then you've got like a time jump or like an episode jump, whereas mine happened bang in the middle, so I got to play half good, half bad, which is such a fun thing to do as a device, you know.
Amazing. Alexander, Rupert, we are nearly up at time. It's unbelievable.
Good God, no.
It's gone like this.
Who's that? Who's up after us? Because we'll just sit with them, sit on the floor maybe.
Listen, I need to tell you something. I just want to say, if I can, if Rupert, I'm allowed to do this.
Rupert, you'll have to do this.
My girlfriend notoriously doesn't like sci-fi, but great, eh? But last time you were here, we were chatting about Outlander, and I said, listen, I've got a good friend who's in Outlander. I really want you to watch this. And she sat down. She is obsessed with it, utterly obsessed.
She hasn't got to season 6 yet, has she?
Yeah.
Oh, she has?
Yeah.
I'm not particularly the nicest character in the world.
I thought
as
you
always.
were amazing.
Oh, thanks.
You were amazing. If you haven't seen Outlander, oh my goodness, you need to go see it. It's absolutely brilliant. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Rupert and Alexander.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Reece.